Hi, my name is Katie Everett, and this vlog is about the novel Their Eyes Were Watching God. I'm reading off my computer, so if you see me look away, that's why. The author of this book is Zora Neale Hurston. The audience Zora pertained to were African Americans. This was because of the time it was set in, and it was predominantly about African Americans and what they went through during segregation. This book was set back in the early 20th century in Florida. During racial segregation. I'm going to be talking about the first and second chapter of this book. In the second chapter, Janie did not even realize that she was African American. She thought she was just like the other kids, with them being white, until she saw a picture that was taken and she could not find herself. There were many white kids, and what she described as, quote, that dark child was her, and when she did not know that was her, everyone was laughing about it, even the teacher. This also kind of made me think about like how bad segregation was. Something like that really shouldn't be funny, but they took it as a joke almost, like she was dumb for not realizing that she was a different color, not really, a different race than the rest of the kids that were in the class with her. The medium that one of the mediums I would like to point out is the grammar of this book. There are several quotes between the characters that are very misspelled, which made it very hard to read, and the readers or the audience almost had to like fill in the blanks and use context clues between the conversations to figure out what they were really talking about. There were also what are called double negatives in this book. For example, on page 7, the quote, "No, 'tain't nothing like you might think." This was a double negative because ain't really isn't a word, even though it is commonly used even today. But putting nothing right after that kind of just contradicts the whole sentence, because it should be there's nothing, and saying ain't nothing is kind of like saying there isn't nothing. Like it doesn't make sense. So that's why the readers kind of had to like interpret what they were meaning, which is what I kind of talked about earlier. The way the genre conventions builds the text for me is because it was set back during the 20th century, during all the segregation stuff. African Americans during this time were not given the same education as white people were. Even during today, unfortunately, people label or look at African Americans or even other races that aren't white a lot lower than they perceive themselves being a white person. So the way Zora quoted all the characters in the text shadowed how most probably thought they talked, and the way it was spelled in the book, they probably thought that that's how they would spell the words out, like if they were writing. And it's kind of dark to think of it like that, but it also shows the way Nanny had told Janie that they are different than other people, meaning white people. So it kind of just all ties in together. Also in chapter 2, the first quote of the chapter is, "Janie saw her life like a great tree in leaf, with the things suffered, things enjoyed, things done and undone." That was the end of the quote. I saw this similarly as how like Janie thinks of herself as strong and independent. Trees really don't have to be taken care of and, upkept. So the tree kind of shows that even during the harshest weathers or condition, it still stands strong, just like Janie would. I do believe that the literary elements continue strong throughout the whole book. There is consistency in the writing and how they are speaking to one another. The rhetorical elements in chapter 2 fell short, in my opinion, and the reason for that is there was persuasion between the characters, but not between the audience. Using the lenses book really helped with how to determine what literary devices were used in the text. Like it talked about similes, metaphors, point of view. Also about how to retain the information you learn and how to apply it to later chapters and infer what the deeper meaning could be. So all in all, chapter 2 stood out to me the most because it was the beginning of introducing the characters and some foreshadowing to the future chapters in the novel. It was also one of the most important scenes to me, where Janie found out who she truly was and how she was different, like Nanny told her. Thank you.